You walk into a room and immediately feel the weight of it. Before anyone speaks, your brain has already cataloged the tension, the quiet resentments, and the performative smiles. It is a deeply isolating experience. You are reacting to micro shifts in the room's energy, a change in posture, a slight drop in pitch, long before the conversation even starts. So you start managing the environment. You adjust your own tone, soften your delivery, and carefully navigate around invisible landmines to keep the space stable. Doing this constantly creates a profound, invisible exhaustion. Eventually, carrying that mental load makes you wonder if your own wiring is flawed. That internal friction only gets worse when you interact with people who simply do not perceive these shifts. When you point out the tension, they reply with, "Relax," or "You're overthinking it." Over time, you begin to accept their assessment. You take their confusion and internalize it as a defect in your own character, rather than a difference in how you process the world. You start carrying a heavy question with you everywhere. You accept the label of being overly sensitive, fragile, or anxious. The real tragedy here is the loss of trust. Your perceptions are entirely accurate, but because no one else confirms them, you stop believing your own mind. But this hyper-awareness is not a glitch. It is a highly specialized adaptation that you developed out of absolute necessity. This animation illustrates a concept called pattern recognition, a system's ability to search for and lock onto repeating behaviors. When a human brain develops in an environment where safety is inconsistent, it uses pattern recognition to predict threats and ensure stability. Your mind trained itself to scan micro-expressions and shifts in tone because accepting a situation at face value carried too much risk. Reading people became your brain's primary background protocol. It is an automated defense mechanism running constantly to keep your environment predictable. This subconscious security system is executing its programming perfectly, even when the data it collects is heavy to carry. The problem arises when you run this high-alert security system in mundane, everyday situations where there is no actual threat. Look at this diagram to understand the mechanics of that overwhelm. Your brain is the central node, and it is being forced to continuously import and process the emotional data of every single person in the room at the exact same time. The exhaustion follows a predictable logic. A system processing this much data will reach its capacity faster than one that simply ignores it. You only started doubting your capacity because this massive influx of background data was completely invisible to everyone else around you. Running the emotional processing power of 10 people simultaneously creates a load that most systems aren't built to sustain. The first step forward is separating your highly accurate neurological perceptions from the years of dismissal you have absorbed from others. We need to establish a completely new baseline. There is absolutely nothing wrong with your wiring. By changing how you view this trait, you remove the weight of it. The constant influx of data stops being a burden and transforms into profound clarity. Consciously understanding this mechanism allows you to observe the room's data without absorbing its emotional weight. You can see the tension without feeling responsible for fixing it. Identifying the pattern recognition allows you to categorize the data as external rather than internal, turning a subconscious survival reflex into a deliberate advantage. It is time to step back into the identity you held before the confusion and the external self-doubt set in. You have evolved from walking into a room burdened by hidden tension to walking into a space empowered by unmatched awareness. This is the return to your baseline. You can return to who you were before the confusion. When you no longer have to doubt your own reality, the hyper-awareness stops being a source of noise and starts being a source of stillness. True awareness is peace. Subscribe if this resonates with you.